What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic.
I'm Jammin.
And we have an album review, and one that we have both been anticipating because, yeah, we've liked everything that this band has put out so far. We are going to go over the latest offering from Creeping Death, Boundless Domain. This comes out on the 16th of June on MNRK Records. This band formed in 2015 in Denton, Texas. This is their second full-length overall. I got into them with their debut full-length, Wretched Illusions. Fucking banger of an album. Got even better on their The Edge of Existence EP, which we reviewed here and was year-ender as well. And for those that don't know, this is old school death metal from Texas mixed in with a bit of hardcore. It's groovy, it's fucking vicious, it's riffy as fuck. Very much in the same vein as bands like Treble Gaze and Frozen Soul. And though they're on the more hardcore spectrum, I would even say Judiciary as well, because man, Texas loves riffs and grooves, and oh my god, this album is all of that.
Yeah, there's no shortage of that whatsoever. I know you said the last couple releases were riffy, but this blows that out of the fucking water.
Yeah, legit, I feel like there's just a tightness about this album. Like, just in terms of like the riffs, the transitions, it still packs like everything that they're known for, like the very hardcore sort of groove-laden sections and, stuff that definitely screams, I love Obituary and Bolt Thrower. You definitely get that on Vitrified Earth, like that's immediate Bolt Thrower vibes. The groove is there, the cool kind of almost doomy harmonies, like definitely a little bit of like Fourth Crusade in there.
Looming has the same thing too. That song is full of heavy as fuck. Actually, the riffs are looming.
Yeah, I'm surprised they can call themselves Creeping Death, because creeping implies subtlety, like they can sneak up on you. And this album has all the subtlety of a fucking alcoholic with $4,000 worth of fireworks. Like, seriously, like, he's just like, I just fucking threw the matchbook in there, and what are you calling 911 for, pussy? Now, an interesting thing to note on here, and I was kind of shocked when I saw the name pop up in terms of who they chose to produce this album. They got one Adam D of Killswitch Engage, which I love his production, but I don't necessarily associate his production with like flat out death metal. Like, he's been the producer on numerous Killswitch Engage albums. He's done stuff for like Parkway Drive and a lot of just metalcore bands, and you get that nice polished sound, and he always gets like the best fucking guitar tone.
He did have a hand in Serpentine Dominion, which I remember being really good as well, but props to Adam D for this record, dude. The guitars, everything is big and clear. The drums are huge. The guitar has the beefiest, crunchiest fucking tone. It sounds heavy. Like, really good job.
Thick heavy. Like, it's just gross and gnarly. But at the same time, like, if you compare this to their past works, like, this sounds like a little bit more refined. Like, this is kind of the level of polished that I can take with like death metal. Like, it still has a lot of grit to it, but everything is just a little bit tighter. The drums sound punchy as hell in here, and I think the drum work really propels like a lot of these songs, because this hangs on to groove all over the place. Like, there are great syncopated breakdowns all over here, or they'll just get into like riffy double time stomps.
Or on Remnants of the Old God, speaking of awesome drum grooves, there's a part towards the end where it's got this really cool like swingy groove, but it's all over the place. Accents and turnovers and whatnot. The way it's peppered in on top of the riff just makes it a really memorable moment.
And on the Parthian Shot, there's actually sections where he's using blast beats as more of a fill than the actual rhythm. Like, kind of swinging back and forth between like a thrashy D beat and then peppering in a blast, like, a quick little fill. So I really like the drum work on here, just in terms of like, it's still very straightforward, very much like in that fucking pocket, but these little sort of flirtations outside of the pocket really add a lot to it. But one of the big standouts in here, outside of the crunching fucking guitars, are Reese's vocals. This dude's vocals are fucking huge, and definitely a little bit more out front in the mix. They layer it up a little bit every now and then. You got a great guest spot from fucking Corpse Grinder on Intestinal Rap, which sounds like a horrible thing you'd order at fucking, Taco Bell late at night. Guaranteed diarrhea.
Who knew I could shit that much?
Blood. But Reese's vocals are just dominant as hell. Like, there is such a massive roar. He's got a good, like, kind of switch to lower ones. His high screams just fucking resonate through the songs. And him working with Corpse Grinder, man, it's like a battle of fucking two horrible monsters trying to, argue over who gets to murder the next person.
And you can tell that not only in that song, but you could tell that possibly working with Corpse Grinder helped him bring a little bit more of command to his vocals. Like, he's out to get you by the throat every time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much the style of the music here. Like, it's very straightforward, but there's a lot of cool nuance to it. I think they had way more fun with riffs and, to a degree, melodies. Now, I say melody, and I'm not trying to say, like, oh, this is a far more melodic offering. No, it's a fucking bruiser. But at the same time, they found a way to inject, like, some cool dynamics, some cool melodies here and there, just to sort of, like, open the song up a little bit. You have really cool doom-laden melodies that pop up on the last track, the Common Breed, and the opening track, the title track. The flat-out bolt-thrower harmonies that are on Vitrified Earth really just fucking make this huge, epic stance. And again, like, none of this comes across as, like, instantly tuneful or trying to reach for, like, extra accessibility. This is just them slightly broadening their sound and adding a little bit more depth.
Yeah, they're like little earworms. It's nothing, like, they're not laying on melody as a dominant force here, because most of it's just chugging fucking heavy nastiness. But the melodies are used more as, like, tags and little hooks, just to kind of catch your ear as they round the next corner.
And I would say that this one is maybe slightly more death metal than their previous efforts. Like, the hardcore elements are still there, definitely some that pop up on Remnants of the Old Gods with the really cool syncopated chug. Like, it just kind of screams like it's a little bit more punky, but a lot of this feels way more rooted in death metal overall. There's more leads on here. Granted, they're still very short, and, there's a good amount of dive bombs here and there.
Yes.
But there's a little bit more in terms of, again, melodies, and then, like, leads popping up a little bit more often, like lead trade-offs.
And some elements a little bit new to the camp for these guys, slam riffs. Intestinal Rap and Cursed both have notably slammy moments. In fact, Intestinal Rap, I would even compare to Dying Fetus.
Yeah, no, there's a big Dying Fetus, just dung 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 dung. Yeah, everyone knows that sort of Dying Fetus style breakdown. It's awesome, and how they inject it is really cool. But I like the fact that there is some variety when it comes down to breakdowns, because sometimes they'll go like a little bit more old school, like kind of a more obituary style breakdown. But one that really stood out to me was the breakdown on Looming, because it's notably more thrashy. It slows it down, but the riff stays kind of like machine gun paced, and it kind of sticks with the thrashy riff that was introduced before it. And they just kind of broke down the rhythm rather than breaking down the riff too. Like, they stuck with that thrashy riff, and again, it creates a cool earworm. And what they do on here, I mean, there are not a tremendous amount of elements, but it's how they're all employed, and I think there's a few more extra things added on here just in terms of some additional spices that really makes this stand out.
You don't have to have a lot of elements all the time for it to be really good. It's just an even dispersion, not back to back. Like, you can't put them in every song. They do a good job to add tons of dynamic with not a lot of parts in every song to make it entertaining.
Yeah, and even the new elements that they bring in, or like slightly newer, or ones that they're using more, they're not overused to the point where, like, oh, okay, that's their new thing now. This is still very much rooted in everything they've done, but it's just bigger. It's better, it's bulkier, it's more fucking violent and brutal. It may have inspired some fucking horrible weather that just rolled through here, because we had a tornado touchdown like maybe an hour or two before we did this review.
Yeah, like 15 miles from here, tornado touchdown, and got some of our friends. Shout out to our friends.
Yeah.
Who are all okay.
They're all okay.
But got a little bit of damage, so.
Yeah. Ohio life, right? When it comes down to negatives on here, I'd be hard-pressed to find any. It's got a tight runtime. Nothing hangs out too long. Nothing is on there, like, too briefly to the point where, like, well, that was just a fucking dick tease. Everything on here is just super well-paced, well-crafted. It lays on all the elements that you already love about this band if you're very familiar with them. And yeah, it's recorded fucking damn near perfectly.
Yeah, there's no bullshit, like, at all. There's a little bit of atmosphere, but it's introduced more as, like, using a phaser to open up a song. It's tight, it's compact. Every song packs a fucking punch. It just, there's really nothing wrong with it. And I would really have to nitpick this to death to find something wrong.
Yeah, they do a good job with like isolating riffs to kind of lead you in. There's a great, like tension building, especially like going into breakdowns. I mean, the only other bit of atmosphere I could think of was the gargling noises at the end of the title track that goes into intestinal rap.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's kind of horrifying. I hope dude's all right.
Yeah, it sounded gross though, so I mean, I can't fault it. And
it added.
And maybe it would have been a fault if stuff like that occurred on every other track, but that's the only time it happens.
Yeah.
In the title track. That's it.
Yeah, the rest of the time it's, musically, building up tension instead of using like, a lot of interludes, which, I bitch about those a lot. But everyone knows that. So, overall, I'm going to give this 4.5 stars. Holy shit, this album fucking whoops ass. This is just death metal done right. I suppose if you're like more of a fan of like the more hardcore side of them, it is not as prominent on here. This is, I would say, a straightforward fucking death metal album, but just jam it. My God, it's just fucking crushing. The riff work on here is their best to date. I mean, everything on here is just tight, honed to fucking perfection to just bruise people in a fucking mosh pit. Like, this is an absolute monster. I kind of knew it would be, just because we've seen these guys multiple times.
Yep.
Every album seemed like it was getting better. And this is absolutely fantastic. If you're a fan of like Bull Thrower, Obituary, Frozen Soul, Gate Creeper, a litany of groovy, heavy, disgusting bands, check this out. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'm right there with Nick. I'm at a 4.5, and it really could creep even higher because this record just kicks ass. Every song goes for the throat. Like I said earlier, there's just no bullshit. Like they just, you want something heavy? Here's something heavy. Here's something fucking heavier. You like groove? Here's groove straight to the face. It's like us recently when we went to Denver and took a trip up into the mountains, and like you're just in awe. You can't wait to see what's around every fucking turn. And it was the same for this record. Like I couldn't wait to see what they do next. They have definitely matured as songwriters. Like it's in here. It's all in here. All the good things. I feel like I'm gushing about this record, but holy shit, the production is spot on. The songwriting is spot on. Every one of these songs packs a fucking punch. Go out and jam it. Like Nick said, if you're a fan of Suffocation, Bolt Thrower, Cannibal Corpse, Tribal Gaze, Frozen Soul, Gate Creeper, the heaviest fucking things you can think of about groovy death metal, this is it. It's in here. Go out and jam it. Fucking top notch.
Probably should have put a towel down in your chair. Jesus.
It's a little moist.
A little damp down there, huh? So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there's a link down below to thrallsmetal.com. Our store is there, as well as our Patreon link. And we are going to have shirts at some point. We will definitely do an announcement when we do. And I already know what the design looks like, and it looks pretty fucking cool. So, I can't wait to show them off.
Yep.
And, of course, we also have our giveaway going on for when we eventually hit 15K. We got like 100 and change to go before we hit that mark. So if you have not commented on the video that I'm going to link down below, comment on it, and you are entered to win a stack of now 11 CDs. And I really want to give those away to some rabid metalhead out there, and it could be you. So, again, comment on the video linked down below. It's also playing automatically on our channel. And, when we hit the mark, I will do the little randomizer. And I'll announce it on here, and we will all celebrate because we hit a fucking milestone that I didn't think we did.
I thought it was unfathomable. A milestone I thought to be unfathomable. 15,000 subs. I can't believe there's 15,000 of you that not only watch all the time, but have actually subscribed to keep watching. That's what baffles me the most, because I can't believe you're all still here.
It says a lot about you guys.
Right.
Really.
It says a lot about you and a lot about us. I know us.
Ugh.
Shit.
The worst.
Ugh. Nauseous. But anyway, thank you to each and every one of you who continues to make this channel what it is, because it's not so much the Thralls of Metal, but it's more you guys that really make this happen and really make all this possible. And we love doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. And thank you.
So with that, I will thank you one more time, and we will catch you later.